The second full month of the 6-month mission is complete. It's time to bring this ship in for some maintenance. We'll take a look at YouTube statistics on video performance, get some passenger feedback from you wonderful viewers, do some shipboard process review of scripting and editing, and then we will set a course for month 3. This is the February 2025 Drydock. Hello and welcome, I am Rob Farker, a 40-something lover of sleek futures and cool machines who is bringing his passion and perspective to YouTube to talk about life, the universe and everything, and hopefully how to do all of the above with a little bit more intent. A quick note at the top of the episode, as always, if you are enjoying this video, I would very much appreciate a like on it. If you could subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and if you could pen a polite, enthusiastic and constructive comment in the comments section down below. Doing so not only lets YouTube know that this channel is worth promoting, but it also lets me know that you are finding what I am doing entertaining and interesting. Well then, the second month of the 6-month mission is complete, as I said at the top of the video. February was, and I hate to use the word interesting because it sounds like damning with faint praise, but it was good to kind of get into the swing of things, especially after the blow up that I experienced in January, and to a certain extent adapting and moving quickly to try and capitalize on it. It was perhaps in some ways it was good. In some ways it was also a little bit sad to see the performance normalize after that spike, and perhaps not retain the highs that that spike had not really indicated but had at least achieved. And then around about the 2nd, 3rd of February, things blew up again. So let's dive into the analytics a bit and look at how things went during February. And for that, I'm afraid I'm going to have to put my glasses back on. Here we go. So here we go. Here are the channel analytics for exploring the digital frontier in the month of February. As you can see, now this is a bit annoying. I've got my video box here on the screen so that it's out of the way of the statistics, but the problem is I kind of need to have it over here so that if I look at the statistics, then I am looking at the screen, but if I have it over here and I look at the statistics, I'm looking off to the edge. So okay then, this is a little bit better, even though I'm still, if I look straight at the camera, oh, it's not too bad. No, I do get a fair bit of reflection in my glasses, unfortunately. I may actually have to fork out for a subscription non-reflective pair rather than these chemist bought readers that I'm wearing at the moment. But yes, the performance was fantastic. Almost 9,000 views within the month of February. Of course, at the moment, because I'm recording this on the morning of Saturday, March the 1st, the tracking does not include, at least from YouTube's perspective, Saturday, February the 28th. Folks, I have to make a quick apology. It is actually the morning of Sunday, March the 2nd as I record this little extra bit. It turns out that somehow I managed to not record the part of the video where I actually go over the broader analytics or the top level overview figures for February 2025 and discuss the videos that specifically performed during this month. I'm not sure, I think I got distracted by faffing around with the camera instead of and must have not restarted the recording when I actually went into those figures. So let's see if I can do that for you now. So here we are. As I think I might have mentioned before, the channel got over 9,000 views during February, and the lion's share of them were generated by this video here. Let me see if I can open it up. Here we go. The most underrated tool for immersion in Elite Dangerous, which took, like I said, the lion's share of the viewing ship, 7,730 views. And that's just the 17th of February, or basically because it was published on the 17th of February until the current date. And let's just see if I can adjust that slightly, just so that it is specifically February. So yeah, not quite 7,700 during the month itself, but still very close, and 422 watch hours and 45 extra subscribers to the channel driven by that video alone, for which I have to say thank you very much. I'm glad you folks came and took a look. So it seems as though on average people stuck around for 3 minutes and 18 seconds, 33.6% average percentage viewed. I assume that's the percentage who stuck around until close to the end. I will have to check that out, and if you're shouting at the screen, my apologies. I do note that this was pretty much, I believe, the shortest video that I did during the current month. Let me just see if we can go back and have a look. And yes, I do have a couple of videos scheduled, but yes, during the month of February, here we go. I put up 8 videos. So 2 videos a week, pretty much, keeping up with that pace. And most of them were at least 12 minutes long. I think, where are we? This one was just under 10. This one was 11 minutes and 40 seconds. And really, let's face it, none of the videos performed as well as this one. I will talk a little bit later about that. But I think while it probably had the most, let's face it, clickbaitish title of the bunch, it did its job, and including, let's face it, my own responses, it was the most commented on video. It was fantastic seeing you folks come back and tell me about your call sign settings and whether or not you'd figured out before seeing the video, or how long it took you to find that particular setting where you can customize the audio response when you approach a major space station in Elite Dangerous, as to how it addresses you on approach. Out of all of the videos that went up, there weren't, let's face it, I didn't get a huge amount of likes on most of them, but it was nice to see that of all the people who came along and had a look, there were about 35 people who took the time to actually give it a downvote. And I have heard of late that one way that you know that you're generally on the right path of something is when you start getting people who don't like what you are doing. If you're getting 100% positive feedback, there may be a bit of you that's going, well, what is it that I am doing wrong such that people don't think I'm doing anything wrong, or aren't coming forward to say that they don't enjoy what I'm doing? At least this way, we've got people saying, okay, I've checked this content out, it's not for me. I want to make sure that YouTube doesn't recommend anything similar, or anything perhaps further from my channel. We will see. And now it's back to yesterday, Rob. During the, well, pardon me, we're still on the last 90 days. Let me swap that back to the custom range of February the 1st to February the 27th and apply. So yeah, again, things kind of cooked along fairly quietly for most of the month until that wonderful spike, thanks to this particular video. And I am glad to see that almost 800 of you folks came back to have a look at the videos that I had put up. I got over 7,000 unique viewers, and as I think I might have mentioned, 68 additional subscribers during the month. Almost a shame that we couldn't get that one more. You know, hey, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more for the month of February, but oh well. 68 is still a great little figure. Thank you very much, everybody. Now, the videos that seemed to get you folks hooked in were that video about particularly playing Elite Dangerous with intent. This one seemed to be the one that actually if you saw this one as the first video that you viewed on my channel, you came back to watch other ones. So that is fantastic. That's perhaps an indicator of something that I ought to focus a little bit more on. I'm glad to see that my another somewhat clickbaity video, do I wipe 8 years of progress in Elite Dangerous, did get a fair bit of interest and quite a few comments. I'm actually wanting to have a quick look. Let's see. Let's have a look at playing Elite Dangerous with intent and that episode specific analytics, although I know it was one that went up in January. I am just curious to see. So yeah, that was my first big spike, got 2,500 viewers. In and of itself, it earned me 65 subscribers, so perhaps no wonder so many people came back and had a look. But after scrutinizing that one, let's have a look at the biggie for the month. Here we go. The most underrated tool for immersion in Elite Dangerous. I put it up on the 17th February, and yeah, it just exploded. It was incredible to watch within the first just over, let's see, when did it hit 2,000? A day and a half after it went up, and then just kept exploding. And it still seems to have, been getting viewers, of course, but yeah, it looks like the rate has somewhat steadied. YouTube, it would appear, was to thank for most of this. It was promoting this video a lot on people's home screens. I also got a fair few click-throughs on Up Next, so being recommended, well, not recommended, but basically being put up as the next video that YouTube was going to autoplay after another video had completed. I did get about 773 people come in from external sources of some kind, and it looks like that people actually searching for Elite Dangerous related content came through to my video as well. So again, probably just looking for settings. The title perhaps was a little bit generic. I will have to see if there's any information that I can get on the search criteria that led people to click through. Here we go. Again, a bit more data on the sources, and let's just make sure. Traffic from websites and apps that embed your videos or link to your videos on YouTube. I don't think I did too much embedding myself. I think I was trusting YouTube to kind of do the heavy lifting for me. So thank you to all those folks who did share out that video. And I do want to actually give a shout out to Lave Radio, the Elite Dangerous podcast, who, again, they did mention that January video about playing Elite Dangerous with intent. And I was actually listening to Lave broadcast live a couple of days after this video went through, and heard them mention it as they were broadcasting their YouTube episode. So I do have to give, and with the left hand, an 07 thank you to all you wonderful folks who do Lave Radio every week. You are fun to listen to. So thank you very much for promoting me. And actually, here we go. Here are the YouTube search terms which resulted in people coming to find my video. And of course, the big hit was just people searching for Elite Dangerous. So that must have been a combination. Naturally, that's search term led, but YouTube must have been putting that up, I would assume, early enough in the search results that people were curious enough to come and give it a look. Elite Dangerous Odyssey got a fair chunk. Elite Dangerous 2025, that's a curious one. Elite Dangerous Mandalay. If you're not familiar with the game Elite Dangerous, the Zorgon Peterson Mandalay is one of the 4 new ships that Frontier Developments, the makers of the game, put out during 2024. And I'm not sure if I mentioned the Mandalay in the episode. I don't think I do. Even if I do, it must be in passing. Because when I am trying out stuff in that video, I'm pretty sure I am flying my Cobra Mark V. And Elite Dangerous Type 9, which I do have a video about, but I don't know, maybe do I mention the Type 9 in that one? Am I flying the Type 9? Actually, no, I've never owned a Type 9. I have a Type 8. Silly me. So, yeah, that was kind of fun. A lot of you folks were in the United States. I got some German viewers. That was very interesting. Yep, pretty much kind of expected. You folks skewed 100% on the male range of the gender spectrum. Having a quick look at devices, most of you folks were watching on your computers, which I guess, given the target audience of Elite Dangerous watchers, players I should say, that's maybe not too surprising. Mobile phone and TV were an interesting corresponding mix, so I assume folks were watching on your YouTube apps via your telly, or perhaps even your console. I'm not sure how that would show up if you're watching on your PlayStation or your Xbox. I assume that would get listed as a TV rather than a computer, but yeah, happy to be wrong there. If you folks know, please tell me. YouTube product, now this is an interesting thing. Okay, YouTube product is YouTube. I am not sure what the breakdown on that would be. Does this tell us YouTube cards, shopping, playlists? I don't know. Again, I'm not quite sure what to do with that information just yet, but it's good to keep a note of. And I will back up to the overall channel content and talk about the subscriber count. Just to say, I did put a post up about maybe 200 subscribers by the end of February. We didn't quite get there, unfortunately, but maybe we could go for 300 in March. That'd be nice. Fingers crossed, if you folks can help that happen, if you can talk about the channel and the things that you find interesting, and even the things that pissed you off. And I just nudged my microphone there, so it probably made a bong noise, which might then piss you off. Oh God, that Robbie does crappy. Here I am trying to censor myself just in case I get demonetized. Here, yeah, no. I mean, I ought to just say, God, here's that Robbie keeps nudging his microphone. He gives shitty audio. Don't go listen to him. But then again, I'd rather say, oh God, he has bad opinions about Elite Dangerous. That will at least that'll generate some click-throughs and see whether people agree or disagree. But yeah, there was one video on the subscriber front, which actually lost me a subscriber. And funnily enough, that was the January Drydock episode. So I'm sort of wondering, will this February one lose me some subscribers? We will see. I think losing subscribers is something that needs to be put into perspective. It's people at least, and I have done this myself in the name of trying to keep my inbound pipelines of information as focused and as uncluttered and as minimally distracting as possible. I do unsubscribe from stuff. So if my one subscriber unsubscribed from this video happens to be watching, completely understandable. If you decided this channel was not for you, I would much prefer people who are intentional subscribers, who are here because they want to be, because they enjoy what I've been doing so far, and they want to keep taking a chance with their attention on the things that I put out next. So yeah, I just thought that was worth quickly pointing out. I made mention the shout out from Lave Radio. I did kind of want to give some specific shout outs to some regular commenters, JD again, Yeehawk, Canburn, and last but by no means least, I'm pretty sure my most frequent commenter, probably because we've got a bit of a codependent relationship going on at the moment, Kurtander. Pleasure to read you all, and it's a pleasure to read everybody else. One thing I did notice, and I kind of have to apologize for, is that there were at times where I noticed if I switch to community, there we go, just scan some exobiology and buy a better ship. I get, a few negative comments, but well, that wasn't a negative. It was a bit of a laugh, but hey, I've got plenty of money in the bank at the moment, and I'm thinking of saving up my cash for a Corsair when it finally comes out. There's going to be, I think, another video about the ability within the game to purchase arcs and buy ships. That one's in the writing pipeline, and I will talk about the pipeline a little bit later when I get to editing. But yeah, I've noticed that I haven't responded that filter sometimes doesn't work 100%. I actually went through my comments with that filter off last night, and it turned out that there were actually several comments, including one from an old friend of mine in Cairns, Yoko Yakashi, that I hadn't even known about, that hadn't come up in the I hadn't responded. So I went through and I gave them a channel owner like, so at least you guys knew that I had seen the comment, and I appreciated it. And I will have to go and go through and give them some proper responses properly, but it will mean actually going through that community view and basically removing all filters and tracking them down, which is going to be a bit of scrolling. I will get to it, but yeah, we will. It'll take me a little bit of time. And yeah, harkening back to that little bit earlier on, I did get some straight up, thankfully not hateful comments, but I did get the odd, as mentioned, there were one or two people who mentioned the clickbaitiness of that title of the episode, the most underrated tool for immersion in Elite Dangerous. And I did get the odd one where, yeah, someone basically gave, well, despite saying that they didn't mean to be harsh, when you put a comment like, "Now you are just wasting my time," there is a pretty clear value statement in things like that. But if there's one thing, I do take lessons from a fella by the name of Joe Pardo, who I actually chatted with when I was doing the Podcast Bay, the podcast to help promote my mate Scott in Canada's podcast production business, which at the time was called Podcast Bay Productions, but I'm pretty sure nowadays it's called Crimson Sales Media. And, oh, hang on. This is what I get for juggling screens. I do the alt tabs and everything comes up. Yeah, one of the things that he does, he creates videos where he does commentaries on the US TV show Shark Tank, because he's an entrepreneur and he likes to dissect people's pitches on that show. And he gets a ton of comments from people saying, comments to the effect of, "I wish he'd just shut up and let the video play." But if he was doing that, then he would be showing the Shark Tank episode, which you could see on TV, or if it were up on Shark Tank's YouTube channel, you could go there and watch it. So he's got to do something because he's putting it up on his video. So yeah, but one thing he always does is says, "Thank you very much for your comment." I think he only takes things down if they are specifically abusive or venomous or anything like that, which is something that I will do if someone does something that is very sharply rude and specifically unpleasant. You are still interacting with the video, you are still commenting it, you are telling YouTube that that you are in a way an audience member for it and that it has engaged you, so you are helping the channel grow. And what else can I say but thank you very much. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit is some behind the scenes stuff, the process of making and editing these videos. Now, if there's one thing that I did take a note of in February, is that pretty much all of my videos were longer than 15 minutes. In fact, that episode about the most, God, I've got my glasses off and now I can't even remember what the name of the episode was. The most underrated tool for immersion in Elite Dangerous. See, I did it with my eyes closed, so I didn't go and check or anything like that. Is that video was actually just over 9 minutes long. It was pretty much the shortest one that I put up during the month of February, with the one exception that I'm not actually kind of counting towards my episode count. I'll get back to that a little bit later. One of the things that I did this month to try and help me with my flow of creating videos was institute a writing pipeline using the Trello app. And let me show you what it looks like. So basically it is a Trello board. It's a free board, as you can see, and it's quite simple. I have one, two, three, four, five, six columns in it. A general idea one where I put the basic topics that I want to speak with in these main tickets. Like for example, this one for playing Elite Dangerous, where I've got simple one-line summaries of things that I'd like to perhaps delve into a little bit more, but I haven't really fleshed out any further. I tend to then move things into a specific card once I've got, say, 2 or 3 more bullet points worth of stuff to talk about. I notice a lot of this is life with intent, whereas I'm trying to... all right, let's have a look at this one. Where this idea of doing a topic on what does winning mean. Winning is a phrase that I've heard used a lot in entrepreneurial circles and other circles as well. And it just seems like a strange way of using the word, a way that I'm not familiar with. And I had enough stuff in my head, Trump and Sheen, Hormozy and Sanchez, where at least it was more than just the title, and I want to get those thoughts saved against that particular topic, so that I could then break them down. I move things into scripting when I start actually fleshing things out into 3 main bullet points and start researching the topic a little bit more. Things then go into filming, for example, this very episode that we're doing in the moment. Once I have gone in... that's another thing I will do, is that in my Google Drive, let's see... I have a template document that I create that will, which is where I start putting out things that are start fleshing out this episode in a little bit more detail. In fact, let me just see if I can give you kind of an example of this with the template document that I had for the February Drydock. So here we go. The title, a summary, some ideas about it, title, thumbnail, and hook, basically breaking things down so that I can start talking about, so that I've got the bullet points that I can refer to when I'm creating the episode properly. And I'm not going down to point 3 because I'm talking about that at the moment, and I don't want to spoil my own content there. So, I then shift stuff into filming when I am pretty much ready to go. I might still do some scripting beforehand, but when I know I've got a date and a time that I want to fire up my camera and start turning the bullet points into video, that's when I'll shift stuff into filming. Of course, once I have the footage, I will then shift it into editing, which is a topic in and of itself. I can't remember how much I talked about editing in the January episode, but I found of late I've started using Microsoft's product Clipchamp a little bit more, which is, let's see if I can bring it up. Basically, this comes pre-installed with Microsoft Windows, and it is, let's hit create a new video for argument's sake. It is pretty much a... where are we? So yeah, you can see here all the videos that I've already saved doing cuts, and that's another thing that I have basically tried doing. Let's just open this just as an example, is that I have found that the editing process tends to take a bit longer when I do one continuous video and then stop during the video to do something else, like just set up the next shot. If I am going from the headshot to the viewing of, to the setup like this, where it's the desktop or the game view. Just because it means I have to do a bit more work in terms of, all right, where do I need to cut? Where's the end of the content before I started doing all the setup, and then where's the start of the next lot of content after I got everything set up. So I'm actually starting to halt the recording whenever I want to do a scene change, or if I feel like I am suddenly having a stumble and I need to pause to regather myself and then keep waffling on at you folks. And the last 3 videos I wound up doing pretty much entirely in Clipchamp, while it is missing some of the features that Riverside has, which is where I was doing a lot of the stuff beforehand. But yeah, I have found that while Riverside has some features that do come in handy, like automatic transcriptions, which I can't get at unless I upgrade my subscription further, and automatic assignment of chapters, which then again I tend to faff around with and adjust, and because it feels like the Riverside AI doesn't quite have the fine art of chapter naming and time selection down just yet. So I find it easier to just do the chapter marks for YouTube manually right at the moment. One feature that I am missing in Riverside, though, is the feature for normalizing audio. I think, and apologies if you folks have noticed this too, though I've not had that feedback, the end video where my Cobra Mark V flies off into the distance and it says thanks for watching, and I can drop in the YouTube end screen stuff, the playlist, and a recommended next video. The volume does tend to spike there, and I do like having Riverside's option to normalize the audio so that you don't get those heavy spikes. And it usually does do a pretty good job as far as I can see. Clipchamp, at least the unpaid version that I am using at the moment, doesn't seem to do that. I will have to look into whether or not it does do it as part of an upgraded subscription, which is slightly cheaper than Riverside, I will say, which does make Clipchamp a bit more a bit more of a tempting option. I do like that I like its options for captioning and putting in headings and text inserts a little bit better than Riverside's, I will say. But yeah, we will see. I have had folks recommend that I look into Descript, which is something that I've not looked into yet. Maybe I will do it in March. So, after all that, how does it all add up for the future of this 6-month mission and the Exploring the Digital Frontier YouTube channel? What will I be doing for March? What is the course that I'm going to set? Well, one question I did want to ask is, how close am I to my goal of 24 videos before the end of March? Since January the 21st, I have published, not just uploaded, but actually put live for the public to access 23 videos. Once this one is done, I will hit 24, and I'm intending to get it up as early as possible in March, ideally before I go to bed on Sunday, tomorrow, as I record this. So that would basically mean, once this one goes live, I've hit 24. Goal met. That said, I do want to adjust that total down slightly, because included in that count of 23 videos, there are the 2 Equal First podcast episodes that I did with Xavier Esteban and Naomi Rose. I do want to subtract them because as much as I edited them during the current month, I actually recorded them last year. And also because they were part of a separate project from the 6-month mission, I kind of want to discount them as well. The one I did for Tavares, I am still counting because it is very much about Elite Dangerous. I think of it as part of the overall 6-month mission, and I did record and edit it this year. There is another video that I want to take out as well, which I uploaded in January, which was the standalone video showing my introduction for the January Drydock, because I wanted to show off the footage that I'd put together of showing my Cobra Mark V coming into dock and landing with my voiceover over it. So I kind of think of that as a glorified short rather than a full episode, which would bring it down to, let's see, 20. For some odd reason, I had 21 down, then realized I'd miscounted and tried to update it to 20, but changed it to 201 and deleted the 0. Silly me. So yes, that's 20 videos, which means, including this one, I have 4 more to put up in March, which would be 1 a week. That's not too bad. It gives me a bit of an excuse to try taking my foot off the pedal a little bit and see how I do. And I would actually also like to note that I already have 2 episodes scheduled to run in March. One of which, given that I intend to put this episode out on the night of Monday, the 3rd of March, the other 2 are scheduled for the 10th and the 17th of March at the moment. So, which means I need another one for the 24th and another for the 31st. So, yeah, that means I basically need to pick, if we have a look at... Let me put my glasses back on and change views, which means a cut. And as you can see from the writing pipeline I was showing off earlier on, I already have 2 in the scripting phase, so I'm kind of there. But I would like to maybe make another one of them a life with intent topic, because the 2 that I have scheduled to run are part of the Playing Elite Dangerous category. And yeah, the 2 that I currently have in scripting are both that as well. And I feel like, I don't know, as much as I have... It's easy to kind of have enthusiasm for Elite Dangerous because it is a game and there are a lot of things that engage my geeky brain and that I could probably just keep rabbiting on about non-stop. I do kind of want to challenge myself and talk about life, the universe, and everything, as I say at the top of this episode, or at least the life and everything bits if we take the universe as the Milky Way galaxy of Elite Dangerous, and the things that I'm trying to do with a little bit more intent. And yeah, I think that there is one of the videos I put up in February, and it was one of the ones that didn't do so well in terms of viewership, was the 3 Intents video, and I do want to make sure that the 6-month mission fits in with those 3 things that I do intend to do. Taking care of Suki, building myself a sustainable and joyous life in Sydney, and living life with a bit more courage, especially on the income generating front, and also bringing out the most enthusiastic bits of me, which is of course where Elite Dangerous comes in. And I think that I have a few other things that I can talk about on that more broad basis. I mean, that ideas column of the writing pipeline is mostly full of life with intent ideas that I think I can do a little bit more research on and make ready to do, ideally, perhaps a slightly shorter video on. I have the sneaking suspicion that this one's going to be another one of those long ones. But anyway, there is a bit of me that is trying to find the balance between hoping to turn the spikes that I had in January and February into a sustained viewership, but also making sure that I am serving that viewership and myself both at the same time. Finding that balance between self and service that I've been talking about. Not just trying to pander to you and get you to click and engage, but giving a shit about you as people who are in a way paying me with your attention and making sure that we are connecting. And I don't know, can you create a symbiotic relationship via this creator and audience? I assume so. But yeah, see how we do with actually trying to make that a thing. But you know what? How about you folks? How has your February been going? Generally in terms of life, life more broadly. If you have been YouTubing, how has your work on your channel and your videos been going? How have you found the idea generation, scripting, recording, editing, and publishing processes? What are some of the joys and some of the challenges that you have encountered on that front? If you are a frequent watcher of this channel, what have you found that you have been enjoying, and what are the things that have perhaps driven you up the wall a bit? I would love to read your comments down there in the comments section. But until you comment, or until the next episode, have a good time in the meantime. This is Rob Farker, signing off.